The forecast continues to look more and more serious for parts of Ireland and the UK as an extremely powerful storm approaches, so today I'm going to be showing you the very latest information about what to expect before impacts begin late this evening. A very rare nationwide red warning was issued for Ireland yesterday, pointing to the high likelihood of extremely destructive wind gusts over 130 kilometers per hour or 80 miles per hour across the country. I'll show you a more detailed map on the wind threat momentarily. In the UK, warnings cover the entire country as well, with yellow warnings covering much of England and Wales, while everywhere else is under amber and even red warnings. Those were finally issued earlier today, including the major cities of Edinburgh and Glasgow. This now brings me to my maximum wind forecast, which I was thankfully able to create just in time before the arrival of the system later today into tomorrow. So just in general, look out for more of these types of graphics in my videos. Also, to reduce confusion, I'll refer to wind speeds in kilometers per hour, but I have added the equivalent values in miles per hour and meters per second for those of you who are more familiar with those units. Anyways, the yellow shade including a large part of England is where gusts could reach 80 kilometers per hour for a time, maybe up to 95 kilometers per hour in some isolated locations. I think strong wind gusts are going to be up another notch as you work your way towards the south coast of England and areas to the north and west, with the orange shaded areas possibly seeing gusts within the 95 to 110 km per hour range. Things really get dangerous once you move into the red shades. This is where I think maximum wind gusts are going to get as high as 110 to 130 kilometers per hour, especially in exposed coastal and mountainous areas. Looking towards Ireland in particular, I think the whole country except for the far southeast can expect maximum wind gusts of at least 130 to 145 kilometers per hour in the dark red, extending up into most of Scotland. We take this up another step in the pink shade, covering parts of Western Ireland, Northern Ireland, and some coastal areas of Scotland. This is where gusts of wind could peak at 145 to 160 kilometers per hour. Lastly, the dark pink along much of Ireland's west coast and extending inland represents the area where I have the greatest confidence in extremely dangerous maximum wind gusts in excess of 160 kilometers per hour, very likely even approaching a staggering 200 kilometers per hour during the height of the storm along some immediate coastal areas and in higher terrain. This tremendous wind energy is obviously going to produce some very large and significant waves, exceeding 10 meters in height right up the Irish coast with a slight decrease going further north and east, but nonetheless posing a risk for coastal flooding and adding to the already very dangerous conditions due to wind. Now briefly taking a look at the rain and snow aspect, thankfully the system is going to move quickly, so I don't think that the rain is going to be anywhere near as threatening as the wind, but a slight risk of flooding will still exist, especially where you see some of those higher totals shaded in yellow. Then regarding the snowfall, this is going to be similar to the rain in the sense that it's not going to be a threat I'm really emphasizing, and that's mainly because it's going to be short-lived and confined to the usual areas, but I will add that central Scotland could be an exception with more disruptive snow throughout the day on Friday. To bring this forecast to a close, let's take a wider view for the rest of you watching across Europe. The storm system which affected Iberia throughout this week is just about gone, allowing for a break before the next wave of rain arrives. While it was still intact, it did push some moisture towards Central Europe, which has translated into light snow for Scandinavia. This will then be followed by another round of snowfall from the remnants of Éowyn, in addition to strong winds, especially for Norway. Around the same time, a sneaky cutoff low developing in southeastern Europe on Friday could spark some intense rainfall down in Turkey and perhaps a few surrounding Middle Eastern countries over the weekend. That's going to lead right into our next potential troublemaker arriving by the beginning of next week with widespread rain and wind, all while the eastern half of Europe deals with the leftovers of those systems. If you are in the areas expecting significant impacts from Storm Éowyn, please make sure that preparations are rushed to completion no later than this evening. Thank you all for watching this important video, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next update.